Shalom. For those who do not know me, my name is Moises Grijalva. I'm a PhD student in biblical exposition at Liberty University, but I don't necessarily adhere to their theological positions. The purpose of having Eddie Chumney as a presenter was to explore and look at points of view that are not always studied. We were blessed to have Eddie Chumney. He spoke about the Zadok calendar for about 5 nights. The time spent was beneficial as we were able to come together both in person and through technology like Zoom. We were able to listen to different perspectives on the calendar. However, Eddie presented only one side. It is from this experience that we should assemble a peer review group, as many have suggested on our YouTube channel. So, as students of the word, we must now look at information and research it out further. If you are willing to not have a bias for either side, I invite you to now message me and leave your information at info@berenica.com. I spent some time digging deeper into the calendar topic and searching out some ideas presented regarding the Zadok calendar in the Book of Jubilees. Some of my thoughts and recommendations on how to or whether to proceed are presented here. The purposes of the lights in Genesis are stated as follows. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 through 19 in the KJV says, "And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day." The fourth day account in Genesis 1 14 through 19, gives several purposes for the meorot, the lights in the firmament. They are: 1, to divide the day from the night. That's verse 14. 2, to let them be for A, signs, B, seasons, C, days, D, years. That's all in verse 14. Number 3, to let them be lights in the firmament of heaven and to give light on the earth. That's verse 15. Number 4, to rule over the day and to rule over the night. That's verse 16 through 18. The word meorot is the plural form of light, translated as lights. The lights are used for several purposes, as detailed in the verses and outline above. Our first point to consider is that Genesis points to three lights, plural, used for signs, seasons, days, and years. That is, the greater, the lesser, and the stars. Furthermore, our second point is to consider that Genesis 1:14 uses the Hebrew word moadim, which is seasons, which means appointed times, and in other verses refers explicitly to solemnities, festivals, or feasts, depending on the translation. You can find that information in Isaiah 33:20, Leviticus 23:1 and 2. Specifically, the Lemah Moedim, which is Moed, ties Genesis 1:14 and Leviticus 23:1 and 2 with instruction to observe the appointed times as shown here. And Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast, that's the Lemah Moed, of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even those are my feasts. Again, the Lemah Moed there. Moving forward, comparatively, the fourth day account in the Book of Jubilees has some similarities and deviations to the Torah that must be addressed to keep an appropriate biblical observance. The Hebrew version of Jubilees, a significant find in Qumran, is reconstructed and labeled 4Q216. This version, though only in fragments, has been translated by Emmanuel Tov. The Hebrew fragment pictures and translation can be accessed in the Dead Sea Scrolls electronic library non-biblical text. On the introduction page, it says that the contents consist of: 1, the Hebrew non biblical text in the Dead Sea Scrolls with photographs of all fragments. 2, an English translation based not on individual fragments, but on all extant fragments that form a particular Masoretic book or part thereof. It is equally based on the Masoretic text for those parts that are missing in the Dead Sea Scrolls. In this depiction, Jubilees 2, 8, and 9 is numbered 5 through 8. The text is presented in a clear color coded system. Text that is phylogically attained is in black, while the reconstructed text is in orange brown color. The reconstructed text is placed between square brackets, making it easy for readers to distinguish between the original and reconstructed parts of the text. Thus, the information presented here is reconstructed and has missing text. The following information would be what was originally found without the reconstruction. We can view here the letters Mem and Shin that more than likely form the ending of Shemesh, translated as sun. Noticeably, we see Hayereach, translated as the moon, and We'et HaKokabim, translated as and the stars. Also, we see Lemishol Beyom Uba Leila, translated as to rule over the day and the night. We also see fragmented phrases, words, and pieces related to the appointment of the sun according to the Ethiopic version of Jubilees. Other than the clear names of the luminaries and the rule over the day and the night phrase, the reconstructed and missing text does not give us much to work with in Jubilees chapter 2. Therefore, the R.H. Charles Ethiopic version of Jubilees translated from the Ge'ez to English is exposited in this video. The purpose of the lights in Jubilees is stated as follows. Jubilees chapter 2, verse 8 through 9. And on the fourth day he created the sun and the moon and the stars and set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon all the earth and to rule over the day and the night and divide the light from the darkness. And God appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, and for Sabbaths, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Sabbaths of years, and for jubilees, and for all the seasons of the years. The fourth day account in Jubilees chapter 2, verse 8 sets the sun, moon, and stars in the firmament. This account does not use the words greater and lesser as in Genesis, but denotes the lights translated by the names sun, moon, and stars. That's in verse 8. It affirms that three lights are in service, just like the book of Genesis. Moreover, Jubilees sets the lights harmoniously in service, similar to Genesis, in the following. Number 1, to give light upon all the earth. Compare that to Jubilees chapter 2, verse 8, with Genesis 1:17. Number 2, to rule over the day and the night. Compare that to Jubilees 2:8 with Genesis 1:18. Number 3, to divide the light from the darkness. Compare Jubilees 2:8 with Genesis 1:18. This information is practically translated almost exactly the same. However, Jubilees 2:9 deviates from the Genesis 1 account by exclusively appointing the sun to be, number 1, the only sign for the following: days, Sabbaths, number 4, months, number 5, feasts, number 6, years, number 7, Sabbaths of years, or the Shemitah, number 8, Jubilees, number 9, all seasons of the years. This exclusivity, 1, it deviates from the Genesis 1 account, as seen above, since all three lights, sun, moon, and stars, are purposed for signs, seasons, feasts, days, and years. Number 2, it demarcates a turning point from what we understand to be the Torah. Number 3, it also indicates the written design of two distinct authors. According to the Book of Jubilees and Exodus, Moses received the tablets and oracles of Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh at Mount Sinai. That's in Jubilees chapter 1, verse 1 and 2 and 28, Exodus 19 through 34. The handed down authorial information on the purpose of the lights during the Mountain Sinai period should and would be the same. The distinctiveness of Jubilees and Genesis alludes to a calendrical polemic and that of an omission or addition of information. In other words, one of the authors added or took away. The fact remains that both accounts cannot be correct simultaneously because of the sun's exclusivity in Jubilees and the appointment of the plural lights in Genesis. Furthermore, no matter your preferred definition of moed as either feast or just appointed time, The Book of Jubilees attributes the sun, while Genesis attributes it to all three lights. Therefore, what is understood as the Torah, the five books of Moses, attributes the greater and lesser lights and stars to play a role in identifying signs and observing the appointed times concerning the feasts, days, and years. The Book of Jubilees attributes the sun as the sole light to do this. This presents a problem since Jubilees would be contrary to what is known as the Torah as written in Genesis and Leviticus as we know it. However, there will be some recommendations for proceeding later in this video. Additionally, according to Jubilees, chapter 6, verse 30 through 38, a specific commandment on what constitutes a complete year as received by the heavenly tablets during Sinai is given. Look at the commandment. It says, "And all the days of the commandment will be 250 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year." Next, we see that we're not to stray from the commandment. Verse 32 says, "And command thou the children of Israel that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. And they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feasts." There's a result here. It says, "But if they do not neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moons, and the seasons, and the Sabbaths, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years." And he gives a reason for this. It says in verse 35, "For I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles after their error and after their ignorance." Therefore, he pronounces now a prophecy, verse 36. "For there will be those who will surely make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons, and comes in from year to year, 10 days too soon. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean day with the holy. For they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh." Jubilees chapter 6, 30 through 38 provides obstacles that are problematic in application. The following are these problems. Number one, the Book of Jubilees reckons the exact day in a year to be 364 days or 52 weeks to be complete. Number two, commands us not to dislodge days from order, verse 33. Number three, denotes the results for neglecting the order, that's verse 34. Number four, it reasons the division of days to be ordained from the heavenly tablets, verse 35. Number five, prophesies that many will make observations of the moon and how it comes in 10 days too soon, that's verse 36. Number six, it demarcates the year as 364 days only. That's verse 38. When taking this commandment and obstacle seriously, one cannot intercalate for a 365-day year. The 364-day only reckoning is opposed to the normative year of 365. Furthermore, some theological views in the Hebraic society elicit that the discrepancy demands the act of intercalation. However, it would be an act against the Book of Jubilees' heavenly oracle The mention of 10 days in verse 36 confirms the author of Jubilees' view to be grounded on a 364-day year. According to the normative solar year of 365.2422 or 365 days, formulated from the spring equinox to the following spring equinox, it is 11 days longer than the moon cycle, not 10. Therefore, the 1 or 1.2422 day solar year discrepancy is another obstacle when the Book of Jubilees commands not to dislodge from order. Moreover, if the division of years is set and cannot be anything other than 364 days, the affirmation and proof of 365 normative day year would render the Book of Jubilees calendar reckoning obsolete. So here are my recommendations. Number one, start a peer review group, which is what we're doing, to discuss this and other matters affecting our communities. Number two, disregard the Book of Jubilees based on the deviation from Genesis, Leviticus, and the exclusivity of the sun, or mount a presumed defense against the Torah and consider a defense against other biblical books as well. Number three, seek an understanding of why humanity reckons the year by 365 and a quarter, when the Book of Jubilees asserts a 364-day calendar. Number four, distinguish manuscripts with the obstacles of the Book of Jubilees and affirm why they would be inspired as scripture. Number five, if asserting or believing that the Book of Luminaries in Enoch 1 and Jubilees is the same calendar, consider the following. A, the Book of the Luminaries, that's Enoch 72 through 82, describes a solar year of 360 plus 4 intercalary days divided by 12 months of 30 days. The intercalary days are placed at the end of the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th months and have 31 days on account of the sun's sign. That's Enoch 72, 13, and 19. Thus, the 364th day is the last day of the 12th month. B, similarly, the Book of Jubilees presents a 364-day calendar divided into 12 30-day months with the 4 days of remembrance or days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year, also known as solstices and equinoxes. However, these days are placed on the first day of the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th months. That's Jubilees chapter 6, 23 through 32. The Book of Enoch renders the 364th day on the 12th month as the vernal equinox, and the Book of Jubilees renders the first day of the first month as the vernal equinox. This presents another type of one-day discrepancy between these calendars when asserting a 364-day reckoning, and also a 2-day discrepancy if asserting a 365-day year. As you can see, that means the calendars just don't match up. Number 6, suppose we regroup the thought process of the solar calendar for the sole use of the Book of the Luminaries in 1 Enoch because the Book of the Luminaries does not have obstacles as denoted in Jubilees. A, still, we must answer, why does humanity reckon the year by 365.2422 when the Book of Luminaries asserts a 364-day calendar? B, either we affirm intercalation to account for the discrepancy or affirm 4 cardinal points and disregard the leftover days. C, affirm and exposit the use of all 3 luminaries to coincide with the Torah, sun, moon, and stars in the Book of the Luminaries. D, discuss the omission of the commandment of 31 days, cardinal points in the Tanakh and Brit Hadashah. E, discuss the omission of a commandment of intercalation in the Tanakh, in Enoch, and in Jubilees. F, discuss the omission of a 13th month mention in the Tanakh. All these actions should be done without haste and through scripture. You see, Yah has given gifts to some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and some teachers. All this is for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yeshua, Christ, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of Yah, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Yeshua, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. That's Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 through 14. A peer review group holding these ministerial gifts should explore many matters. As a teacher, I welcome feedback on this matter and hope that more people will take an interest in forming a group to investigate these matters. If you are interested in being part of a Zoom peer review group that could discuss these matters, please send your contact information to info@bereanechad.com. Thank you, and I hope this has been helpful. Be blessed. Shalom.